is Snowpiercer. Around and around the earth we circle, we can never stop. These are our revolutions, 1,001 cars long.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to another review episode. Today, I'm going to review Snowpiercer. This show is an adaptation of a French graphic novel called Le Transpige, and it also has been adapted to a movie in the 2013 starring Chris Evans. Spoiler warning is in effect as always, so if you haven't seen the show, please do watch the show, but if you're still watching it, thank you for watching. 7 years after the world is frozen, and the only thing keeping the human race alive is a train that is 1,010 cars long, the peasants, also known as the tailies, and the working class, also known as third class, starts a revolution that changes the life of citizens on the train. One of the reasons why I like the show is because of how different the show is from the movie, as the movie takes place 17 years after the Snowpiercer departure. Meanwhile, the TV show takes place 7 years after, making the show feel more realistic as the passengers knows and remembers the outside world and Snowpiercer. The other reason why I like the show is because of how unique the show is compared to the other shows airing right now. As each episode is suspenseful, it is almost impossible to predict what is going to happen in the next scene, making each episode even more exciting. Top episodes.
Number 10. Trouble Comes Sideways, Season 1, Episode 6. As Layton, portrayed by Daveed Diggs, recovers from being put in the drawers, the third class tries to start a revolt. But as the train begins to break down, Melanie Cavill, portrayed by Jennifer Connelly, intervenes and tries to fix the train before it's too late, causing the revolution to stop.
Number 9. Justice Never Boarded, Season 1, Episode 5. As the trial of Lila Jr., portrayed by Annalise Basso, begins, the third class requests to be one of the jurors to keep the trial legit. Meanwhile, Layton starts to have some flashback in the early days on Snowpiercer while he's in the drawers. Melanie decides to quit Lila Jr. to keep the people of first and second class to stop them from overthrowing her, which makes third class become desperate to get revenge on their fallen. As Bess, portrayed by Mickey Summer, discovers Layton in the drawers, she questions her loyalty to the classes of Snowpiercer and decides to help Layton. Number 8. Prepare to Brace, Season 1, Episode 2. As Layton starts his investigation on the murder, he teams up with Bess and is allowed access to train cards he has never heard or seen before. While exploring the cards, he is taken to the night cart where he meets Miss Audrey, portrayed by Lena Hall, and is reunited with his ex, Zahara, portrayed by Sheila Vaughn. As Layton tries to get a message to the tailies, he fails to do so and his plan to communicate with them thickens. Number 7. Access is Power, Season 1, Episode 3. Fight night begins on Snowpiercer. As Layton learns the drawer manager is responsible for providing the drug materials, he also learns how Miles, portrayed by Jalen Fletcher, got into the school academy on Snowpiercer. Layton then tries to talk to a janitor dealing drugs during fight night, but he is forced to abandon Bess to get the answers he needs. Number 6. The Universe is Indifferent, Season 1, Episode 7. As Melanie intensifies the search for Layton, Layton seeks Miss Audrey's help to meet the key people of the third class to confide in them the truth about Melanie and Mr. Wilford. As Layton starts to enact his plan, Melanie interrogates Josie, portrayed by Katie McGinnis, which leads to her death as she freezes. Layton meets with Lila Jr. in secret to tell about the secret of Melanie and Mr. Wilford, completing his plan to start the revolution. Number 5. 994 Cars Long, Season 1, Episode 10. The season finale of the show teases what's to come in the next season. As Layton's wish comes true with every class having equal rights, the next step was to create a government that will allow fairness to everyone. But as the tailies starts to taking things without permission, Layton has to take charge and show an example for everyone. As the train arrives back at Chicago, they start detecting signals outside Snowpiercer. A massive reveal is revealed when Mr. Wilford returns on the supply train on Snowpiercer with Melanie's daughter as his missionary. Number 4. First, the Weather Changed, Season 1, Episode 1. 7 years after the world froze, Mr. Wilford summons Layton to solve a murder. As the tailies believe Layton is being released to be executed, they start a revolution causing 3 Tailies to be put in the drawer, but with a promise of Layton bringing them back when the true revolution starts, and decides to help Mr. Wilford solve the case. At the end of the episode, Ben, portrayed by Ido Goldberg, reveals to the viewers Melanie is Mr. Wilford, seeing what's to come in the future episodes. Number 3. Without Their Maker, Season 1, Episode 4. As Layton closes down on the killer, Snowpiercer goes into lockdown. Melanie allows Layton to interrogate the first class, making them question Melanie's leadership. As Layton identifies the killer, Lila Jr., he is drugged by Melanie as she figures Layton knew the one secret that could cripple Snowpiercer. Number 2. These Are His Revolution, Season 1, Episode 8. As the first class learn the dark secret about Melanie, they confront her and allow Layton's revolution to begin. As the Tailies and the third class team up for a revolution, Layton first outsmarts the security forces and brings all of them to the first class, allowing him and Bess to reunite with the Tailies without any trouble. As the Tailies and the third class strike the security force from 2 ends, one in the basement and the other in the night room, they are able to weaken the security force, but with many casualties. Number 1. The Train Demands Blood, Season 1, Episode 9. As the revolution continues, the first class starts to execute the Tailies left behind, and Melanie as well. As Javier, portrayed by Roberto Urbina, and Jinju Song, portrayed by Susan Park, helps Melanie escape, Melanie decides to surrender herself to Layton and help him take back the train. But before he can take the train, Layton must sacrifice a couple of his closest friends in the Tailies to do so. As of any dystopian show, Snowpiercer explores how the rich and the poor will still have a benefit even if they're in the same condition. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow for another video.